reason, the cord, the plug that fits from my computer into the thing, it like got unplugged. So I'm like, oh my God, my computer's dead. I've got no way to charge it. And my Apple computer is a little bit different. It's got like this, my son, he's 17, like, well, you got the C thing or the USB thing or the, I'm like, I don't know what I got. I just got this thing and it looks like this and it's small and it's smaller than that thing. So my husband's like, well, you're going to have to go to the Apple store today. And I'm like, well, I've got to go live in 5 minutes. I'm like, that's not going to happen. So my son, who's amazing, was like running around through all of his cords and hooking me up, and got one hooked up, and then all of a sudden it died. And he's like, all right, Mom, I got you. And I'm like, okay. It takes a village. It seriously takes a village sometimes. So I share all of that because as six-figure, multiple six-figure, seven-figure business owners, we're going to bump up against tech. It just is, because we live in a digital world. And so I just want you to see that even somebody who's got the summit together, that's been doing this for years, sometimes we bump up against it, and it's okay. You just got to roll with it and figure it out. And there's always a way. I was actually going to, pull out my tripod and do it on the phone and all of that. But anyways, it always works out. Everything is working for us. And I'm so, so glad to have you guys here. If you are watching inside of the Facebook group, if you could just do me a favor inside of Facebook group and just type in the comments that you're watching the live, that would be great. So #live. If you're watching the replay, amazing. Welcome back. Glad to have you. Type in #replay. And this is a really fun piece of building your business. We're going to be talking all about attraction today. And I wish more of you were here, because this is like a critical component: attracting, nurturing, inviting people. So this pillar and the next two pillars are probably the most important pillars once you already know who it is that you're serving and your pricing and your programs, because it's not enough to just know who it is that you serve. It's not enough to just know what your pricing is. You have to be able to attract the right client to you. And you have to know how to do that in a way that feels really good and aligned with you, without having to rely on any of the bro marketing or, any of the scare tactics or aggressive things, or just DMing anybody inside of, the DMs. The way that you can do that in a way that feels really good and heart-centered as wellness entrepreneurs. So, I'm going to share with you a way today. And also that nurture piece is also important as well, because you can attract people into your world. But if you don't have a way to cultivate that connection and that relationship before you ask them to work with you, then what you're trying to do is really drag somebody from the sidewalk right into the mansion. We talked about the sidewalk, the benches leading into the mansion, which are your offers, on the last coffee chat. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at that, definitely listen to that. But these are three components: build, nurture, invite, build, nurture, invite. These are the foundations of a business. And if you do not have a system that you are able to show up consistently and authentically to attract your audience, to attract and build, a community of people that are looking for what it is that you have, a way to nurture those relationships in between before you invite people into a call, and a heart-centered way to invite them to work with you, then what you're doing is you're relying on this, just trying to convince or persuade people to purchase into your programs. And that's a big jump. It's a really big leap for most people. It's one of the reasons why just trying to take a stranger into a discovery session typically doesn't work, because it's a really big leap, first of all, for somebody to say yes to giving you a 1 hour experience, 1 hour of their time, before they even know who you are, how you can help them, and the energy, whether or not they resonate with your energy too. So if you're having a really hard time booking, or if you've only been taught, oh, just go book discovery sessions and then you'll get the client, if you're having a hard time doing that, chances are one of these pieces are missing. And so that is what I am going to, talk about today. We're going to talk about what are the three pieces: attract or build. I kind of do those both, because we want to build an audience that is looking for what it is that we have. We get to attract them in a way that feels really good and authentic. We get to nurture those relationships. And then we get to invite people to work with us in a way that feels really, really good, without feeling like you're trying to convince or persuade or drag anybody across the finish line. So I want you to think about three the Venn diagram, for those of you that know the Venn diagram, right? There's 3 circles and they overlap, right? So one circle, the first one that we're going to talk about today is attracting. The second one that overlaps is the nurture piece. And then the one at the bottom is the invitation piece. If you are not dialed in with this attraction piece, then what you have are attracting people into your world that might just be the looky-loos, the ones that just want to download the freebies, the ones that really aren't a good match for you and your services. And so you're going to get a lot of, I don't know, I need to think about it. I need to ask my significant other whether or not this is good for me. You're going to get a lot of what we typically call those objections, right? I don't like to refer to them objections because I don't think they're, I think that they are just false beliefs. And when you're attracting the right client into your world, when you're attracting the people that you can most serve and you can most help, those false beliefs are something that you actually get to answer within the nurture component before you even get on a call with somebody. How amazing would that be, not to have to deal with objections and money objections and time objections, and I need to ask my partner objections when you're actually just on a quick 15 or 20-minute clarity call with people. So this attraction piece is pretty important because, again, without it, you're not going to be speaking to the right people. Now, you can have the attraction piece and you can have the nurture piece, but without the invitation piece, you're not actually inviting people to work with you. And that's one of the places that I really see a lot of heart-centered wellness entrepreneurs, transformational coaches getting stuck in. We are used to giving, right? Nurturing is not really something that we have a hard time with. And so we want to nurture, but we also have to be available to be a stand for the transformation that somebody else wants. And so that invitation piece we're going to talk about in that pillar so that you can really see the pathway with which you get to support a client in making an empowered decision, not just trying to convince or persuade somebody to buy your thing. So if you have the attract and the nurture piece, but you're missing the invitation piece, you're not going to be making any sales. You've got a really expensive hobby that you're probably continuing to pour money in. If you have the attract piece and the invitation piece, that is, but you're missing the nurture piece, that's what I talked about earlier, where we're just trying to convince or persuade somebody in a discovery session, right? Because there's no nurturing that's been happening. And nurturing can happen in multiple ways. Nurturing can be something that happens in person. Nurturing can be something that happens online, like I'm doing with you guys today. The summit is a nurture event. It's a way to give lots of value and teach and share and help people create quick wins and epiphanies. And so I'm really excited. On Monday, tomorrow, we're actually going to be diving into that nurture piece. So each one of these pieces are important, and this attraction piece is where we get to get dialed in on how do you have your ideal client reach out and raise her hand and self-identify to you that she is somebody that you could support her with, right? So we're talking about attracting clients to us, not chasing clients. Not chasing clients, because remember, the chasing energy is actually an energy of scarcity. The chasing energy feels really, really needy. The chasing energy of, oh my God, I got to get a client. If I don't get a client, if I don't fill my group, if I don't do the thing, I'm not going to have any money. I'm going to not have a business. I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. That is a very needy, scarce energy. And we never want to come from that place in our business. We want to spend 51% of the time in abundance and in the abundance mindset of what makes us amazing and special that is going to attract clients to us. So on that attraction piece, there is something that is going to be very, very specific and exciting about you to your ideal clients. There are many, many, many different business coaches out there that can help you build a business, but there's something that caught your eye, your ear, your heart, your brain that brought you here to me. Right? And so the same thing is going to be with you and your clients. There might be many other health coaches or life coaches or spiritual coaches or wellness entrepreneurs, but there's nobody like you. And so this is where we get to identify what are the things about you that are attracting your ideal client? What are your unique pieces of brilliance? And how do we share those in a way that is going to support the client that is looking for what it is that you have? So this is one of the reasons why we do have to get clear first on who our ideal client is and who, what are they looking for? And that way we can match what is our zone of genius, what we really love to do, with the people that are looking for that same thing, right? So one of my superpowers is really this nurture piece. I love to nurture, and I've taken it from something that is just a, oh, we just have to kind of give and give and give, into no, this can actually be a superpower when you're cultivating connections to build a financially abundant business. And my why, and I actually spent some time this morning before we started running around go like crazy looking for the charger, diving into my why. And my why and your why is going to be what resonates with your people. My why is I want women to be financially independent. I want them to be financially abundant. Why? Because that gives us freedom, it gives us choice, it gives us more power, it gives us a voice. And when we get to combine that with what it is that we love to do, which is making a difference in the lives of others, the ripple effects that happens is amazing. So you may or may not know that I went through a divorce after being in a marriage for 17 years. It was a very toxic relationship, and I needed to get out of it. And I had always have a heart for the natural health world. So I had run a part-time yoga business. I taught some yoga and some meditation, and I made the decision to leave this toxic relationship after 17 years. It was a very dominating relationship. I remember one time my ex-husband at the time got mad at me because he was doing some work outside and I didn't make lunch for the men. And I was like, seriously, I didn't make lunch for the men. That's why you're not going to talk to me for 2 weeks. Like, did you even ask me to make lunch for people? So this type of toxic relationship, I left, and I left without a job, and I left without a way of making money, and I left without a place to live. I left with about $25 in my account and about $20,000 in debt. And it's important to me to show you that no matter what circumstance you're coming from or what circumstance you've been in or you're in now, you can still create financial abundance and financial independence. Today, I'm not in that situation anymore. Our business crossed over $1 million last November. I'm still a present mom. I've got 3 amazing kids that I get to enjoy, that I get to take on trips. I get to pay for college for them. 2 of them are already done. And so that financial independence allowed me to do things with my life and to be a voice for others as well. And so that's my deeper why. And the other piece of it is that, and the reason why we called this summit Wealthy, Wellthy, is that you get to create this financial wealth without sacrificing or trading in your well-being, your time, or your integrity. Right? There's a lot of different ways that we can make money. Some of them require sacrificing your integrity and trying to do things that don't feel aligned with you in order to attract, nurture, and invite people to work with you. And I'm not about that. I'm about taking a look at what lights us up and how is it that we can show up and serve and attract, nurture, and invite without sacrificing our integrity, without trading that in for success. Also without trading our well-being in for success, right? We talked about the importance of having a 90-day nurture plan the other day. And that was important because we get to create a business model in a way that supports our lifestyle, in a way that supports us in traveling or going on retreats or being there for a family or football games or homecoming games or whatever it is, right? We get to do that. And so the attraction piece today, I want you to think about what is it that you absolutely love to do? What could be your unique zone of brilliance? What makes you different in the way that you are either serving others or just what lights you up? This is not about trying to be somebody else. This is about diving into what is your why and how can you communicate that why so that other people can self-identify and say, yes, I want that. How can you communicate that so that you can help others see that you see them, you understand what it is that they're struggling with, and you also see that there's a path forward, right? There is a pain island that might be on right now, but we want to take them over here to pleasure island, right? And so that attraction piece is where we get to dive into how are we doing that with our messaging? How are we doing that with maybe a freebie? By the way, if you're unsure about this, I'm going to share a link inside the Facebook group. It's also on my personal page. It's called Branding with Archetypes. We all have different archetypes. And so one of the little ways that we get to play detective to uncover what is it about us that attracts client to us is to take a look at an archetype, the branding archetype. So you can take a quiz, it's totally free, and you can see, wow, what are my top 3 archetypes? Then you get to take a look at the cards that resonate with that archetype. And that's going to say, if this is you, this is what your people are attracted to. And these are all the words that you can use that are going to help you speak their language, right? So speaking the language of our ideal client, speaking the language in a way that we know people are really looking for, the way that we can support them is important. So go take that quiz, and then you can join me on October 28th, and I'm going to teach you how to double your email list using your top branding archetype. Yeah, did it yesterday. Great, Susie. What did you come up with? Type in the chat. What was your top archetype? If you don't mind sharing. Great. Let's see. So this attraction piece doesn't have to be hard. Sage, awesome. So you were the sage and the nurturer. Amazing. Great. So the sage is about sharing wisdom and helping others create transformation in their lives from that wisdom. Beautiful. And the nurturer, of course, is about also helping others feel special, helping others know that they've got a safe place to land. So we're going to take those pieces. Susie, definitely come on the 28th, because we're going to talk about how you take those components of sage and nurture and put together something that is very attractive to our clients. How many of you, and I would love to hear, if you're in the Facebook group, type in the chat, and if you guys are here, you can come off mute. How many of you feel like this might be a missing piece, that you are feeling like, you know what, I know what it is that I do, but I feel like I'm kind of speaking into the broccoli components of it, the logistical pieces of my program versus the chocolate pieces, which is really attracting the client? Susie raised her hand. Yeah. Yeah.
I just found it interesting. I don't mean to interrupt, but I found it interesting because although those were my top 2 and I wasn't surprised, everything else scored really high. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So I'm a little all over the place, which makes it make sense. You know what I mean?
Well, let me share that. Look, we all have those inside of us, right? We have all of them. So it's not just like, oh, you're either 1 or none, or you're 3 and none. We all have all of them, but there's going to be pieces that speak to you, that make you really excited and passionate. And those are going to be the pieces that your ideal clients are looking for in you. Okay, my top archetype is actually the ruler. And the ruler is about helping others create wealth with grace, ease, and peace. And that has been on my heart, and it's a way that exactly what it is that I do. And so I speak into that because that is what I wanted for myself. How can I create wealth with grace and ease? And how can I help others do that too? Providing a structure as well. The ruler is also about structure. It's not just about, let me just try this and see if that sticks. It's about having a system, having structures in place that allow you to do it. So you know what to do daily, weekly, monthly, like what is the system? What is the plan? What is the pathway? And so for me, that makes sense. And that is what I talk about. And that's about the way that I serve my clients inside of Activate Abundance.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
What are some of the things I would love to hear with this attraction piece? What are some of the things that you feel are challenges to you in understanding how to attract your, what I like to call our ready yes clients to working with you? What are your biggest challenges, Susie? Is it that you just don't know what to talk into because you feel like you've got a passion for so much?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think it kind of goes in with that, with a limiting belief. My experience so far has been the financial piece, and that often people want to choose a therapy type model
Mm,
over, coaching, because it's covered. And so they're in that mindset already, like if that makes sense.
yeah.
So it's a little bit of a challenge to, or it has been. I mean, I'm very clear about what the difference is, but I think people think, that's what I think people think. So again, it's a limiting belief that they're, oh, it's not covered. Oh,
Yeah.
and you get that. So
Let me speak into this, Susie. So there are people out there that are looking for that are like, you
Yeah.
know what, I want something that's covered. They're not,
Mhm. Right,
that's
right.
not your client. And
But
so
they're not all in. They're not all in then.
they're not all, well, they are just looking for something different, right? And so when we spend our time, those are like the 30% of the people that are, you know, on the sidewalk, that are not looking for what it is that you have and the way that you are serving them, right? So what happens is that we end up spending a lot of our time and attention trying to figure out how to convince these people that they need what it is that I have. And they're like, yeah, no, I just want this thing over here that's covered. But yeah, we're like, but no, you really don't. You really want me. And
Yeah, nah, I'm not in that energy anymore. I think in the beginning I kind of was, and I'm not now. But
yeah,
it still is it still is something that I need to
yeah.
let go of 100%.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And when we shift into that, we absolutely get to be a stand for the peoples. Because here's the thing, there are an abundance of clients. There is no lack of clients here. Let me just share that. If you guys take anything away from here, there is no lack of clients that are looking for you. There really isn't. You might not see it right now in your real world, but they are looking for you. And so we want to speak the language, the chocolate that is also going to communicate to them that says, hey, this is, I'm here for you, and I'm here to support you. Susie, I have another client of mine who actually specializes in hypnosis, and on our one-on-one call together, she was like, oh, but they all, you know, everybody that I'm talking to has you know, they're not buying because they're afraid of giving up control. They're afraid that hypnosis,
Yeah, I think we saw that in the other,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And that's just not her client, right? We
yeah.
don't need to convince or persuade somebody that hypnosis is safe. That's not what we need to do. So getting clear on this piece and then saying, I am available for the client who is looking for my system, my strategy, my way of supporting them, and you are only available for that. I'm only available for that. There are many people that can share, you know, that can serve them in that way, but this is the way that I'm going to show up and serve, right? There are many business coaches out there that can support you in creating fancy funnels, that can support you in Facebook ads, that can support you on getting TikTok videos viral or whatever else. That's on me. And it's okay if you want that. There are people that are going to support you for that, but that's not me, and that's not in the way that I serve.
Got it.
Yeah. Amanda said, just been taking clients at a discount while finishing up my classes. I have one class on how to read blood tests and one more clinical, and then I have my certificate. So I'm new to marketing the service. Amazing, Amanda, great. So this is where there's a couple things here. One is definitely being aligned with the client that you don't need to offer a discount. Let me just say that. Offering a discount really comes from our not trusting our own sense of value or worthiness in providing the service. So there's a little bit of a mindset piece going on here. And then of course you're new to marketing a service because you haven't been taught that, right? Like none of us in the wellness world, most of us have been taught, how do we attract our ideal client? I know I wasn't. You know, I got my nutritional therapy practitioner certification and they're like, great, open. And I'm like, great, how do I do that? Like, I know what to do to serve people. I know what to do to help people get a result once they're working with me. But how do I actually market that? And look, marketing is merely sharing your voice. Marketing is merely getting in front of people, being visible, which is a big or can be a big obstacle to many wellness entrepreneurs. But it is simply a way of sharing how you can help them get their transformation. So let me just take it off of you. It's not like, oh my gosh, you know, I've got to make it all about me. No, you get to make it about how do you help somebody else get their transformation, because it really is about them. It really is about them. It's just that we end up speaking into our program, our 12 weeks, our one-off session, our blood tests, our blah, 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 right? Instead of talking about the pieces that they are looking for, which is a result. What are the results that they get to have? What are the results? I want you to write that down. What are the results that my clients get to walk away with if they show up and implement, right? When we talk about a promise or a program promise or what it is that our clients can walk away with, that doesn't mean that you're responsible for making sure that they do the thing. If somebody implements what it is that you're teaching them, then what's predictable to happen? What are the results that they're predictable to walk away with? Sarah says, what to offer as a giveaway? I do a weekly email and have a great open rate. Awesome, but not converting yet. I get into the many I get into many, should I do reels? Should I do this? Okay, awesome, Sarah. Yeah, yeah, right. We're like, what do I do? Maybe this is a nurture question. It is a nurture question, so we'll dive more into that on Monday, tomorrow. Can't believe it's tomorrow already. And you also do want to take a look at what are you offering as a giveaway or a freebie or something, some way that you can give value, because that is a way that you attract your ideal client. When you think about what are the results that your ideal client is looking for, then once you know what are the results that your ideal client is looking for, Sarah, can you help me here? Either, oh, she just disappeared. Oh no.
I'm here.
Here you are. I'm like, wait a minute, Sarah.
I
Sarah.
was like, no, I didn't go anywhere. Yeah, because I have really great
What are the
feedback from my email. So I offer moms really good mental clarity on how to prioritize what's really important.
Ooh, okay. So the result that they want is what? Prioritizing what's really important so that they have what? Spaciousness in their day and their life. Like, give me a little bit more.
Yes, so they have better connections with themselves, with their family, and their community.
Beautiful. Okay, so they want to know how to prioritize so that they're giving up the 80% that are the shoulds and the needs. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. So what you do is you get to take that, that's what they're looking for. That's the result. What do you have in your wheelhouse, Sarah, that is going to support them in having that? And by me, I don't mean that we're going to solve the whole thing in one shebang.
Right.
What do you have that we can chunk it down into something that they would be like, oh, hell yeah, you can have my email for this. Like, is it a checklist? Is it a morning routine? Is it a how to say no without apology? Is it how to open up an extra hour just for yourself every day? Like, what would be something that would be, again, when we think about it in terms of chocolate, like what would be the chocolate that she would be like, yes, that is what I want, versus, you know, I'm going to help you create clarity. Clarity is great. And I'm sure that they want clarity, but clarity is kind of the broccoli. It's the way that you give them, right? So what would be the chocolate that they want is, what do they get when they have clarity? They confidently do something, right? They unapologetically do something. They already have this experience of being. And so we want to share with them something, a piece that is going to help them get that. So when you talk about clarity, amazing. We still use the word clarity, but we want to add into what is that clarity going to give them so that they can have this deeper experience, so that they can give up 80% of the calendar that's pulling them away from what's really important.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that also piece came from working with, I did just have a 6-month contract signed client.
Yay!
And that came from her too. She said, I've gained more mental clarity and I've said no to a big committee that I've been a part of. Amazing. So I was like, okay, like this is working.
Yes. Yes. Okay, Sarah, this is beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love supporting you with this. This is so good. So the other piece that we get to do is you get to listen to the clients that we're working with. And if we're not working with clients right now, that's okay. We can ask other people who we think that we would love to work with, right? That meet our ideal client. We're not asking mom, we're not asking sister, we're not asking brother, uncle, aunts, anybody. We're only asking the people that could be our ideal client, the person who is going to benefit from your services, right? Like, I don't ask my husband, he's not a woman and he's not a woman entrepreneur. He works for a company, right? What he wants for support is not going to be the same as what I give. So this is so good. So Sarah, you've got multiple things here that you can do. The first thing is, you know, coming up with a freebie that is going to help them, whether it's a template, a checklist, it could be a free 1-hour training. You know, it could be an in-person talk if you like more in-person stuff. And this is where, you know, we start with giving them, you know, a freebie, giving lots of value to help them to create an epiphany or a quick win. That is what attracts your ideal client. We're not solving the whole problem. We're helping them to create an epiphany or a quick win. That is that first piece of attraction. Because when we say, hey, who are my moms who would like to give up 80% of the time that's taking them away from what their, you know, what their real priority is? If that's you, let me know. That is helping somebody raise their hand and go, hell yeah, I'm a hell yeah for that. That could be a Facebook post. That could be an email. That could be something that then leads into a freebie. Once we attract them into our ecosystem, then we move into the nurture component, and we talk more about the nurture component on Monday. We'll
Tomorrow.
dive deep into that piece. Okay, once they're in our world, they have to be in our world first, right? They have to be a viewer. So the attraction piece is how do we help people self-identify so that they're in our ecosystem, and then we can serve and nurture them before we actually even invite them to work with us. Right. So this is beautiful. You've got so much good stuff. And I'm sure that you've got stuff in your wheelhouse. So think about, do you have anything that you could repurpose that you could help somebody with? Right? What is it that you've created already that you could just turn into a freebie? Right? Like and I'll give you a couple examples for me. And that is, oh my gosh, my son is so funny. He just texted me and said, hey mom, do you want flowers? He knows I'm doing a live. I'm like, dude, that's so sweet. He knows I love flowers too. Okay, I digress, but that just made my heart like really expand. Okay, so Sarah, back on this attraction piece here. Sorry. Yeah, once we bring them into our ecosystem, and we get to kind of share with them a way that we could help them create a quick win or epiphany, then we get to nurture, and then we get to invite. But this first piece is understanding, number one, what is your why, right? And how can you communicate a way that you are serving people and helping them self-identify in your world? Now, once they self-identify, like if I was to do a Facebook post, like I just mentioned for you today, that, then, and they're saying yes on Facebook, or they're saying yes in whatever realm you're in, then you say, Chris, thank you so much for responding to my post about wanting to give up 80% of the stuff that's taking you away from your real priorities. I have a free template or a handout or a checklist or a free video or a free masterclass that's coming up. Would you like to join me? I'd love to serve you in this way. Would you like the link? That asking, that invitation to having somebody join us makes it a service versus here's my link, just join my thing. Like always asking is going to be a great way. So asking or saying, hey, this is something that I talk about inside my free Facebook group. Would you like to join me inside of my free Facebook group? I do, weekly lives. I do, freebie Fridays, which is what I do. So having a place, once you attract them, is then moving them into a place where you can nurture them. Okay, so I'm gonna, since this is so interrelated, I'm gonna talk a little bit about it today. But one of the things that I love to do is you get to pick one main platform in which you have the capacity to nurture. And we are in a digital world. And so if we're only relying on email, then we don't have a way to really energetically connect with people, for people to see you, know you, like you, build trust with you quickly. Okay, because the written word is a very small component of it. It's still a component of our business. We're still going to use email, but we want a way that we are actually creating connection with people so that they can see you, hear you, like you, trust you, and create quick wins before you even ask them to work with you. Okay, and that nurture piece is what I call nurture events. It's what I teach inside of Activate Abundance, whether you want to do nurture events virtually online like this, whether you want to do one-day master classes, whether you want to do 5-day master classes, whether you want to do an in-person workshop or an in-person talk, that falls into the component of the nurture piece. So again, so that you're building know, like, trust quickly. You're not just trying to convert from email, or you're not just trying to convert from a Facebook post. This middle piece is where we spend a lot of time inside of my 12-month program, Activate Abundance, to help you uncover, how to actually do those things and what to share, and to let it be repeatable so that we're not recreating the wheel every single darn time, right? How exhausting is that? Yeah. So for those of you that have been in my world for a while, you've heard me talk about some of these pieces before. You've probably heard me talk about attract, nurture, invite inside of my masterclass, the Nurture Method. You've probably heard some of the things that I'm sharing today in 6 Figures Made Simple, because it's my process. The Soulful Abundance System, these 6 steps are the process with which I serve clients. And so that nurture piece is going to be, again, what we get into tomorrow. Sarah, was that helpful?
That was very helpful. Thank you. And it just actually reaffirms all of this stuff that's been floating around
Yeah,
so.
yeah, good. And that should
And
hopefully it feels good. Like when
yes,
we think about it, we feel it, it just kind of lands right here. Yeah.
yes. And it's almost that check of like, you are doing like you are doing what you're supposed to be,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
that feels good. And I had written, repurpose before you said it. And I also feel like I'm connecting. I went on a week long, vacation and left my computer charger and had to do the like, okay, what's good about this? That you get to like
Right.
not be working and you get to actually reconnect with yourself.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Oh my gosh, totally. Thank you for
so
sharing.
I felt that.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. Anyways, I'm so glad that we figured it out.
Yes.
I truly believe, and this is something that I learned from one of my coaches, the answer's in the room. The answer is in the room.
Yes.
The answer is always in the room, right? Whether it's in the room here inside of a community, whether it's in the room with, other people, the answer is always in the room. So
Mhm.
if you're not getting the conversions that you want right now, chances are you're just missing a component of it. And when we finally get those components, Sarah, when you've got the attraction piece and and you're like, yep, affirm, I'm doing that right. Then we get the nurture piece going and working like a well-oiled machine, because that leads into the invitation piece, which is your heart-centered sales system. And so we do, that, and then we get to put that on repeat. We get to hone and master that process, because when you get to hone and master that process, that's when you're moving into the multiple six-figure place. If you want to create 7 figures, amazing, but you are always going to come back to these 6 steps. Always, always, always. Aligning, who is it that we're being, right? Aligning with our ideal client. Designing the programs, the offers, the 2 core main offers that are going to help us get to 6 figures so that we know and we are priced appropriately. And then how are we attracting, nurturing, and inviting those people together? And then the last step that we talk about is empower. And that's going to be on the very last day. That's where we get to master. That's where we get to be like, okay, it's time to evolve now. Let's take a look at everything. How do I continue to stay in the place of being empowered and make any of those 1% tweaks or shifts as an entrepreneur that we are called to make? Doesn't mean that you're turning everything upside down or throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It means we get to come back to these previous steps and say, how am I attracting? How am I nurturing? How am I inviting? What's working? What feels kind of meh? What do I want to let go? How do I need to hone and master those pieces? Yeah. So we've got some incredible women that are talking about attraction yesterday. So we had Debbie White, we had, and she was talking about marketing as well. We had Elizabeth, who was talking about showing up. You're very welcome, Sarah. Showing up and having a presence on camera. We talked with Heather Jones. She is actually the one that helped me create my website. She does Show It website. So if you're interested and at a point in your business where you were looking for a website, she would be a good one. But I do want to say that you don't need a website in order to get to 6 figures. So let me just say that. I just want to preface that by saying websites are great, and you don't necessarily need a website in order to get to 6 figures. Okay. You need to get these pieces first. You need to be bringing income in your business before you start putting income out into things that are not directly income generators right now. Okay. So we've got lots of great attractors that were showing up. Oh, and I can't believe I almost forgot Brianna. Brianna Sash, she's the owner of Wellness Stock Shop. She provides imagery, and all of these women I've worked with. And that's why I'm bringing them here for you. The imagery that you might see in much of my graphics and my visual representation of me and my brand comes from Brianna. So Wellness Stock Shop, the heart, the amethyst, the heart with the computer, the heart with the dollars, all of those, that's imagery that's representative of my brand. And Wellness Stock Shop is a great resource for that. So definitely go into the hub, the freebie hub, so that you can download any of these freebies. And I've got a freebie for you too. So be sure when you're in the freebie hub, click on the link if you want a 30-minute free session with me to help you piece together your 6-figure profit plan. And we will take a look and create by Susie your 6-figure business model. Can help you do that lickety split. Awesome. Juliet, Nadine, Deborah, Sarah, how are you doing? Do you have any questions or any insights or ahas that you've heard today that you'd like to share? And it's totally okay if you don't want to come off camera, you can type it in the chat. If there's anything specific that you might have a question around. Those of you that are in the Facebook group, I will circle back around and I will answer your question in the Facebook group because I do not have an ability right now to see your questions. But if you do have a question about this attraction piece, please let me know. Awesome. Okay, so a couple things. If there's no more questions today. Oh, okay, Sarah, being on camera again and with consistency. Do you have a question about that, Sarah?
No, just the aha of I have my email list, which has been really great.
Yeah.
And I'll do Facebook Lives and then I'll stop. I just need to be consistent with, I get in a really good flow with that and then things happen and I stop. And so having that like email list alongside of the, like you said, being on
camera
in a visible way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. We get to do that. It's not a have to.
Yes, yes.
Right. It really is. I mean, and it can be a block because look, it's true that whenever we're visible, we have a fear of rejection, right? We have a fear of, well, somebody might not like butterflies or right. Somebody might be like, oh, she's wearing red lipstick, whatever, right? There is a fear of rejection when we first start out. But here's the thing, by being consistent, you overcome that. When you're consistent, when you show up consistently, you're actually moving through. So the confidence that we actually build by showing up and doing it because we want to help attract somebody that we can actually serve and support, right? We get to make it about somebody else rather than just making it about us, right? Because when we're only focused on us, then what's going on in our brain is, what are they thinking about me? Do they like me? Do they like what I'm saying? Do they like the way I look? Do the way, like all of that, right? And we're focused on ourselves versus on the other. And so when we are consistent by focusing on the other, and we do that over and over again, that builds confidence because we really don't need to say the right thing. We really don't. We get to speak in a way that is going to attract our clients, yes, but we can't say the wrong thing to the right people. And we can't say the right thing to the wrong people. Like Susie mentioned earlier, you can't say the right thing to people that are not looking to invest in a health coach. If they're only wanting, something that is covered under their health insurance plan, and that's what they want, it doesn't matter what you say to them, that they're not, there's no congruence there. Yeah. Yeah, Juliet just said consistency is a good one. Need to step up my game on that one. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. All right. 2 things. Go to the hub, grab your freebies. And if you want my eyes, my ears, my heart, my brain on your business, and we can map out a 6-figure business model for you, click that button. You can book an appointment with me. It's a 30-minute session, and I will absolutely help you with that. Also, more freebies for you. Go to, and I will share it in the Facebook group, take your branding archetype quiz. That is really going to help you uncover what makes you special, what is attracting clients to you. What is it that others see about you that they want, and how you can use that and understand how you can then communicate that so that you can attract more of the people that want what makes you special. Okay, and then I will also be doing a free masterclass on the 26th, which is all about creating your 90-day profit plan. So we're going to chunk it down even smaller. We're going to go from 6 figures down to 90 days. We're going to create a 90-day profit plan with you. And then you can also join me inside of double your email list with your branding archetype. Sarah, it's branding with archetypes. It's a quiz, branding with archetypes, and it's a free quiz that you can take, and it will help you uncover what your top 3 archetypes are. And then on Friday of next week, we're going to take your top archetype and we're going to learn how you can double your email list with that top archetype. Yeah. And when you double your email list, again, that's just another way that you can help people self-identify. And then we're going to move them. If we don't have a Facebook group, we're going to start a Facebook group, but we want to move them into a Facebook group because we want to be able to visually serve and nurture and to create connection. You're welcome. Awesome. All right, everybody, have an amazing Sunday. I'm off to the Apple store so that I can get a charger. That is actually going to be mine, that I don't have to get back to my son. And then we get to have lazy Sunday. I don't know about you guys, but this is part of being an empowered entrepreneur, is you get to take time off. You get to nurture yourself as well. You get to be with your family. So we're probably going to be watching a little bit of football today. I'm going to go for a amazing walk on the Greenway, probably going to read a little bit more. So take time for you. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. already, where we dive into that next piece, which is nurture. Have a great day, everybody.